ESPYs are tonight, but this morning, doing a little Schrager 5. I put together a list of the top 5 coordinators under the most spotlight in the NFL this season. We start with number 5, and that is Seahawks offensive coordinator Brian Flores. Who? Brian Flores with the 49ers beforehand, and he coached Sam Darnold when he was with the Niners, but he was a tight ends coach. He's replacing Clint Kubiak as the OC in Seattle for the defending Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks. Big spot there for Brian Flores. Number 4, how about David Blau? David Blau, you might know that name. He was a former player with the Lions. He is 30 years old, and he's the offensive coordinator for the Commanders. He apparently has a very strong relationship with Jaden Daniels and was there under Cliff Kingsbury, who is no longer there in Washington, is now in LA. Number 3, we go to the defensive side of the ball. How about a 34-year-old defensive coordinator from the rival Eagles? Yes, that's Christian Parker. And yes, these are some highlights of a terrible Cowboys defense last year. At 34 years old, the former defensive backs coach for Vic Fangio in Philly is now taking the reins to run the defense and replacing Matt Eberflus in Dallas. And number 2, we stay in the NFC East because we're going with Sean Mannion, former player in the NFL, coming from Green Bay. At 34 years old, he's now the new offensive coordinator in Philadelphia. No A.J. Brown, no Jeff Stoutland, and no, Sean Mannion has never called a play in the NFL. First-time play caller with a lot of pressure on him in Philadelphia. But number 1, look no further than Baltimore, because that is their new offensive coordinator, Declan Doyle, and that is the player that he is going to help elevate or not help elevate back to MVP status. There's a new head coach in Jesse Minter, defensive side of the ball. Declan Doyle, at 30 years old, is the offensive coordinator responsible for getting this Ravens offense back to where it was when Lamar Jackson was having MVP seasons. Declan Doyle was with Caleb Williams last year. He was with Bo Nix the year before that. I'm joined by Kimberly Martin here. And we, of course, have Louis Riddick and Tom Pelissero as well. I'm going to start here by going over to Louis. Louis, you look at Declan Doyle, new voice. It's no longer Todd Monken. What do you make of Lamar Jackson and hitting the ground running in a brand new offensive scheme?
Yeah, Peter, I think you're going to have to temper expectations and expect there to be a little bit of a transition period because, look, we know this is a relationship business, right? No relationship is more important than the one between the quarterback and the primary play caller. And Declan Doyle now, under Jesse Minter's direction as the head coach, is trying to really integrate a lot of put in a new offense, integrate some young new pieces. They got 2 new rookie wide receivers. They got a new rookie starter at the left guard position in Vanga Ioane. They got 2 new young tight ends that they're trying to bring into the fold. And Lamar is sitting there, trying to, again, reestablish himself as the 2024 version of Lamar Jackson, where he just absolutely blew it up under Todd Monken. And then in the background, Baltimore is still trying to figure out how to get him signed to an extension. Because in 2027, that cap number that Lamar has on his contract is the second biggest in the NFL, only behind Patrick Mahomes at $84 million. He's $34 million this year, $84 million next year. Mahomes is at $90, which is just kind of mind-blowing. But they need to go ahead and get that thing kind of really figured out. And, obviously there's been a lot of talk about them trying to go ahead and kind of start this process rolling along. You don't know how that's going to affect Lamar and his mindset heading into this season. A lot of moving parts. Temper the expectations early on in the season.
Kmar, you do such great work with the AFC North during the season on ESPN. What do you make of Lamar's offseason, what we've seen from him with a new coaching staff and a new offensive coordinator?
So, Peter, the thing that stood out to me was that this was the most Lamar Jackson has ever attended in terms of off-season programming. So every off-season, people are always talking about, where's Lamar? He's not there. Does this mean he's bought in? Well, they have a first-year head coach, a new head coach, and where was the quarterback? Right there from the beginning. Jesse Minter talks about relationships, communication. He's very big on those things. And from what I'm told, Lamar's presence is proof that he is bought in. Now, the question of whether there will be bumps in the road, listen, you have a first-time head coach. So you'd have to expect there to be bumps in the road. There is an acclimation process for the coach and also their MVP type of quarterback. But to sort of temper expectations, I don't know about all that.
Yeah.
Because the expectation is still, this is a team that has the talent to get to a Super Bowl, and it's on them to do it.
Tom, there's a lot of times you get a new voice in a player's ear. We always hear about Jalen Hurts having, 12 new coordinators over the course of his career. Which team and quarterback would you look to as like a comparison for what Lamar's onboarding with Declan Doyle might look like?
Well, Declan Doyle trained under Sean Payton, but he spent last year with Ben Johnson in Chicago. And while Lamar has a lot more time on task than Caleb Williams, it's probably instructive to look at the arc of Caleb Williams last year. You look at the first 2 months of the Bears season, they were not very efficient. They were a middle-of-the-road type of an offense. Go to the final 7 games, they are top 10 in virtually everything. And a lot of that was about Caleb settling in. You don't want to take away a superhero's superpowers, but even Superman needs to be Clark Kent sometimes. So what they want to do with Lamar Jackson is allow him to play more in that first play. Make his job easy, train his feet to his eyes so he can go 1, 2, 3, and only then, if it's not there, does Superman have to come to the rescue.
I want to show you guys something, and you can make what you want of it at home here. NFL.com and the NFL puts together a top 100 list. Now, for you guys at home watching who are just about to fall off your chairs, this is voted on by the players. Now, I don't know all the processes and how it all comes to be, but this is voted on by the players, and Lamar Jackson is sandwiched between a linebacker for the Dolphins, a wide receiver for the Broncos, and a couple other players, Xavier McKinney and Zay Flowers, who might not usually be considered in Lamar Jackson's league. This is the player that last year was voted number 2 by his peers. Kmart, I ask you, as you speak to all of his peers, what do you make of that ranking?
I don't know what to even, I thought that was a joke. Because now granted, I don't poll every single player in the NFL. However, every week, I cover games. I cover a lot of AFC North games. I talk to a lot of opposing defenses, coaches, players. And the players who have to face Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, the player they always point to as to the key to everything for us to get a win against Baltimore is to stop 8. He's the problem. We have to always account for where he is. So I'm not sure how Lamar Jackson is that low. I really don't understand it.
I don't mean to disrespect Jordan Brooks or Xavier McKinney, but to see that, 69 out of 100, what is your response?
Yeah, I really don't have one. And look, sometimes players, man, when they're doing these kinds of things, they're not really taking them serious. They're doing them literally maybe while they're playing Madden or talking to a friend at the same time. I mean, come on, 69. I mean, that's just dumb. That's just dumb, and it doesn't mean anything to me.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna leave it there. 69 for Lamar Jackson.
Here's what I would say.
Yeah, go, Tom.
There were a lot of people who didn't see Lamar Jackson looking like Lamar Jackson last year. He missed time with a hamstring. He wasn't 100%. He missed time at various points in the season. If anything, this is a reflection of the Lamar Jackson of 2025, which is what players are voting on. And that's one more reason they want him playing on time and stay healthy in 2026.
Absolutely. Good.